Hi, Art with No Borders is created by an artist without boundaries. Please use the pronoun Hannah and skin tone as olive in reference. My background, well, where do I start? I guess the most logical place is to start at the beginning. 14th of August 1992 in Billinge Hospital, Wigan, which is what my birth certificate says, and I'm a history grad. So I guess my birth certificate is a historical record, isn't it? My birth certificate also states my birth parents' place of birth. My mum's is Twickenham and my father's Jerusalem, and mine is Wigan. History is what we remember when we forget all the facts. So I don't remember the 14th of August 1992 in Billinge Hospital. But I do remember my childhood in a pizza takeaway with an English mum and a Palestinian dad. And if you've ever seen the film East is East, that's it. Basically, that was my childhood without siblings. So I don't watch TV, but I like solitude. I get to entertain my obsessions with social conventions as a self-imposed outsider, disguised as some superficial self-awareness which deflects from any productive engagement in social progression, because I'm quite comfortable silencing any real critical engagement to disprove my views as projections rather than addressing personal problems. No, I like to project this self-awareness in a much more expansive way, but not as a champagne socialist. No, darling. I don't identify with that breed because my nose has always been too big to drink from a champagne glass. So my ancestral social background suggests I'm not being my true authentic self, and political revolt seem like some much more earnest pursuits, and heritage is something more sentimental. Who are my biggest influences? Well, my biggest influences in terms of artists, I'd have to say Frank Auerbach, Caravaggio, Turner, Francis Bacon, and yeah, the greats really, in my opinion. But my greatest influences in terms of my character has to be my grandfather. What am I focusing on right now? Well, surviving. Keeping a roof over my head. In terms of artwork, I'm focusing on my masterpieces, which I can't tell you what they are, but I'll give you an inkling, the Holy Trinity. What is the biggest challenge of being an artist? Maintaining my artistic integrity and spiraling into total insanity. What advice would I give my younger self? Do exactly what you're doing. Don't do anything different whatsoever. Have you ever tried any unconventional mediums or techniques? Well, I guess that's all the time. I remember when I first got back into my art, it was after I had a massive mental health breakdown. Anyway, spiritual awakening, whatever you want to call it. And I was off sick from my office job, let's put it that way. And my mum got me some oil pastels from Aldi's that were, in the bargain bucket. And that's where it started. And then my friend brought me some pens when I was also off sick on work. Yeah, it happens a lot. And yeah, I use those pens. It's whatever I have access to, really. Do I listen to music or have any type of background noise whilst I work, or do I prefer complete silence? Well, I prefer music. However, I struggle because I'm an analog girl in a digital world. So, using my phone and having music playing when I don't have Spotify subscription is quite difficult. Also, yeah, I went through a phase of being obsessed with Ralph McTell's Streets of London. That brings something out of me. But yes, I do need background noise, any noise really, to drown out the chatter in my head so I completely can focus. What's the best reaction someone's ever had to my artwork? That made them feel uncomfortable and felt somewhat disturbed. Yeah, that was something. And I'd have to say, which sounds quite dark and depressing, but I drew my late grandmother's portrait when she was 21 for my grandfather as a birthday present. Long story, when he was very ill and a bit delirious, the one thing he kept pointing to was that portrait that I drew. And that went into his coffin. So, yeah, I don't think anything really tops that. And what do I hope people take away from my artwork? Hope? Also, when I'm doing my art, I never really engineer anything, really. It's not premeditated, and I don't think anyone can really do that. Control someone's emotions deliberately. I guess I want to let the viewer in. That's my biggest challenge as well at the moment. I really want to feel understood, and the characters that I'm depicting, I want them to be seen.